Welcome to the OTCO SOE microtraining, what uncertified transporters, transloaders, and storage facilities need to know. Grab a cup of coffee or tea and a snack and sit back as we dive in. In this training, we are going to go over the regulation and preamble for transportation, transloading, and storage facilities and discuss which activities require organic certification and what might be exempt. We want to begin this video by emphasizing OTCO's commitment to collaborating with our certified operations to assess whether their suppliers or segments of the supply chain require organic certification or are exempt. The relationship between the supplier and our clients must be clearly understood and evaluated before we are able to determine whether the supplier or a facet of their supply chain may be exempt from organic certification. It is important to note that OTCO does not assess or grant exempt status to operations we don't certify. We strongly encourage all segments of the supply chain to obtain organic certification to enhance consumer, farmer, and business confidence in the USDA organic label. There are some activities that are considered low risk and are exempt from organic certification. These exemptions are identified in the regulation under Section 205.101. OTCO has created additional resources for our clients and their suppliers to better understand these exemptions. The OTCO certification matrix and webinars are available on our website at www.tilth.org/SOE. Next, we are going to access the preamble and explain how we are using it alongside the regulations to have a better understanding of what is required under SOE. From the NOP website on the left, you click on the Strengthening Organic Enforcement Final Rule button. That brings you to the NOP's SOE website pictured in the center. From here, click on the Final Rule. This brings you to the preamble on the right, which includes considerations and context of what went into publishing the final rule. It may be helpful for you to bookmark the SOE preamble for easy reference. Now that we have established what the resources are and how to access them, we are going to move forward with transportation. The preamble includes an example of a complex supply chain beginning with the production of certified organic corn and ending with the sale of eggs to the consumer. We have modified the example for simplicity. It starts with a certified organic farm produces organic corn. The corn is transported via uncertified truck from the farm to a storage facility on behalf of the farm. The next step is the certified farm sells the corn to a certified organic feed processor. The corn is transported via an uncertified truck from the storage facility to the feed processor. The certified processor then combines the corn with several other ingredients to create organic chicken feed. The certified processor sells the feed to a certified poultry operation and transports it via an uncertified truck from the feed processor to the poultry farm. The feed is fed to chickens who then lay eggs that are sold as organic. As you can tell from this example, transportation is a vital part of the supply chain. There are possible opportunities for organic fraud, contamination, and commingling that may occur during transport. While transportation presents a risk to organic integrity, it is not an activity that explicitly requires organic certification. We're going to use the next few minutes to clarify what the regulation and preamble, including public comments and the NOP's response, say. This part of the preamble includes a comment and response regarding transport. The comment is, commenters requested that AMS explicitly state what transportation activities are exempt from certification. They also noted that the regulatory text and preamble lack a specific exemption for transport of agricultural products. The response is the OFPA, or Organic Foods Production Act, provides AMS, which is Agricultural Marketing Services, authority to regulate the handling, i.e. selling, processing, or packaging of organic agricultural products. However, transportation activities are not included in this authority. Transport is generally described as the movement of products in commerce. Based on the OFPA, transport of organic agricultural products does not need to be certified. However, any handling activities that occur during transport must be. See the definition of handle for examples of activities that may require certification. What this means: the activity of moving organic products from one location to another does not fall under the regulatory authority of the NOP, and therefore they cannot require certification or oversight of this activity. Some additional context on transport is provided in the preamble. Transport of agricultural products alone is not handling activity and does not require certification. See definition of handle in 7 CFR 205.2 and 7 USC 25028. Transport generally refers to the movement of products in commerce. Examples of activities which are transportation and do not require certification include moving organic hay or milk from a certified producer to a certified organic buyer or certified processing facility, moving organic grain or organic livestock from a certified organic farms to a certified handling or slaughter facility, and food delivery services, transporting prepared foods from a retail restaurant to a consumer. The key takeaway here is the transport of organic product as an exempt activity is limited to being picked up and dropped off at certified organic facilities. That last example is slightly different in that it includes direct-to-consumer delivery situations, such as grocery delivery services. Additional guidance on transport is included here. Any activities other than the movement of product on a transportation vehicle or moving products between transportation vehicles, transloading, are handling and require certification. Handling activities which are adjacent to transport require certification unless they are covered by exemptions 205.101 section E or F for packaged products. Examples of adjacent activities which do not qualify as transport and which require organic certification include combining, splitting, containerizing, packing or repacking, treating, sorting, opening and closing, or labeling and relabeling. In addition, loading or unloading of unpackaged products into or from a storage facility is not a form of transportation. This activity must be certified. The key takeaway here is only the act of moving product from one location to another is exempt. Combining and loading activities require certification. If a transport company is performing these activities, it must be disclosed either in their own OSP if they're certified or in the OSP of the operation they are acting on behalf of. We'll now go back to our previous flowchart example of the production of certified organic corn and ending with the sale of eggs to the consumer. In the first step, a certified organic farm produces organic corn. This step requires certification. The corn is then transported via uncertified truck to a storage facility on behalf of the farm. For this step, loading the unpackaged corn into the truck requires certification. Hauling the corn to the storage facility is exempt. Unloading the corn from the truck to the storage facility requires certification. And then storing unpackaged products also requires certification. The next step is the certified farm sells the corn to a certified organic feed processor. The corn is transported via an uncertified truck. For this step, the sale of and loading of corn into the truck requires certification. Hauling the corn to the processor is exempt, and then unloading the unpackaged corn at the processor requires certification. The next step is that the certified processor combines the corn with several other ingredients to create organic chicken feed. This step requires organic certification. The next step is that the certified processor sells the feed to a certified organic egg producer and transports it via an uncertified truck. For this step, the sale and loading of unpackaged organic feed into the truck requires certification. Hauling the feed to the processor is exempt. Unloading the unpackaged organic feed at the processor requires certification. The feed is fed to organic chickens on a certified organic farm. Again, this is certified. Examining a seemingly straightforward product such as organic eggs underscores the intricacy of the supply chain. With numerous intermediaries involved, there exists a heightened susceptibility to potential issues like fraud, contamination, and commingling, all of which pose threats to organic integrity. In ensuring supply chain compliance, companies are encouraged to pursue organic certification across all segments. Transportation entities have the option to obtain certification. Some of the benefits of transporters, transloaders, or storage facilities gaining organic certification include: you can build increased trust in the marketplace and from your clients or customers. Transportation and adjacent activities will be overseen and verified by an organic certifier, so you won't have to disclose business relationships to your customers. And uncertified transporters of unpackaged products like milk or hay are only compliant when operating on behalf of the certified entity. If you maintain your own certification and have the opportunities to increase your routes, you would be able to do that. What happens if you choose not to or must continue using uncertified transportation? We'll go back to the preamble for that. The preamble states, certified operations are responsible for verifying that products handled by uncertified entities in their supply chain remain in compliance with the organic regulations. This includes verifying organic products transported by an uncertified transporter. A certified operation needs to describe procedures for verifying suppliers in the supply chain and the organic status of products received. That is noted in 205.201A3. In addition, certified operations must maintain records back to the last certified operation, which may encompass uncertified operations that fall between certified entities. And that is from 205.103B2. The certified organic operation responsible for the organic products that are transported must maintain records for the audit trail and traceability in sufficient detail as to be readily understood and audited, demonstrate prevention of commingling and contamination during transportation, fully describe the transportation practices in the organic system plan, and ensure that the transportation records for organic products are available for inspection. Certified operations that load or receive products from uncertified transporters can verify prevention of contamination or contact with prohibited substances through, for example, affidavits or other documentation of vehicle cleanout. What this means from the previous slide is that the certified organic operation responsible for the organic products that are transported must maintain records for the audit trail and traceability in sufficient detail as to be readily understood and audited. They must demonstrate prevention of commingling and contamination during transportation. They must fully describe transportation practices in their OSP, and they must ensure that the transportation records for organic products are available for inspection. Certified operations that load or receive products from uncertified transporters can verify prevention of contamination or contact with prohibited substances through affidavits or other documentation of vehicle cleanout. Operations must identify and understand the risks associated with uncertified parts of the supply chain, including transportation. Certified organic operations who are receiving products moved by uncertified transporters will need to identify and document the steps they are taking to ensure the organic integrity of products as part of their OSP. For OPCO clients, this is addressed in the Organic Fraud Prevention Plan, or OFPP document, as well as the OSP documents related to receiving practices. We'll again use the previous example of the production of receiving organic corn and ending with the sale of eggs to a consumer. The key takeaway here is it is important to understand and identify which organic operation, either the seller or the buyer, is responsible for ensuring organic integrity during uncertified transport. Going back to our example, we will discuss the expectations from the sellers and the buyers. The sellers, who in this flowchart are demonstrated by the farmer and the processor, are now identified with a green $sign. The sellers who load the product must verify and document that the truck is free from contaminants prior to loading organic products. Again, loading is a handling activity and requires organic certification. This may include an affidavit that indicates what was observed or verification that the cleaning methods used were compliant with the organic regulations. The buyers or recipients are now identified with the yellow sun. The buyers or recipients of the organic products and ingredients, which include the storage facility, processor, and egg producer in our example, must verify that contamination and commingling did not occur during the uncertified portions of the supply chain and that the organic integrity was upheld during transport and storage. Unloading unpackaged products is a handling activity and requires organic certification. Things like verifying the organic status of the product in transport was visually displayed on the truck, and the use of truck seals should be documented to show that organic integrity was maintained. We are now going to move on to the next topic of this presentation, transloading. This part of the preamble includes a comment and response regarding transloading. The comment includes many comments discuss transloading organic agricultural products and asked AMS to clarify if this activity requires certification. The response was, transloading is commonly defined as the movement of agricultural products between modes of transport. AMS does not have the authority to regulate transport. Therefore, transloading strictly between modes of transportation does not need to be certified. However, transloading is sometimes used to describe the movement of agricultural products from storage to transport or transport to storage. AMS considers these activities to be loading and receiving. See the definition in section 205.2 and the definition of handle. Moving unpackaged organic agricultural products from storage to transport or from transport to storage requires certification. If the organic agricultural products are enclosed in sealed, tamper-proof containers or packages, then loading and receiving is exempt from certification. As described above, there are two definitions or explanations of transloading. We'll now discuss what is required when each type is being used. Example 1, the movement of agricultural products between modes of transport. In Example 1, what this means is that products can transfer from one transportation vessel to another transportation vessel and be exempt from organic certification. An example of this would be a tanker of milk transferring the milk into a larger truck for hauling longer distances, or trucks that transfer product straight into rail cars, or the other way around, rail cars that transfer product straight into trucks. In these examples, the action of transloading is exempt from organic certification. However, it is important that the recipient of the organic products has a documentation on file to verify that organic integrity was not compromised during all transloading events. The key takeaway here is, it is important to understand and identify the activities being performed while organic products are in transport in order to accurately determine whether the activity requires organic certification. Example 2, the movement of organic agricultural products from storage to transport or transport to storage. AMS considers these activities to be loading and receiving. In example 2, operations that move organic goods from a transport vessel store said organic goods and then load the organic goods into a second transport vessel will require organic certification. These operations fall under the second definition of transloading, which requires organic certification. The operation who loads the transportation vessel and the operation who unloads the transportation vessel must be certified as organic, and so they must both keep records showing that the product and vessel were free from the contamination when the product was loaded, and that anything that occurred during transport, including transloading, were done compliantly. This is going to require trust with your transporters and suppliers because any loss of organic integrity could affect your certification's compliance. The key takeaway here is, while an operation may fall under this definition of transloading, the activities performed are not exempt from organic certification. Again, it is important to understand and identify the activities being performed in order to accurately determine whether the activity requires organic certification. A recap from the previous 2 slides and the varying definitions of transloading. A transloading is a function of transportation that may be exempt from organic certification depending on the activities performed. It is important to understand the activities that are being performed by transportation companies and transloaders in order to determine whether certification is required. Some activities require certification. We want to reiterate again that transport and transloading companies can be certified as organic. It would benefit the buyers or recipients of organic unpackaged goods if there was documentation and oversight via organic certification, because then they would not be responsible for ensuring the compliance of all activities between loading by their certified organic supplier and unloading at the certified organic facility. Another way of thinking about it is that operations are responsible for the activities that are happening on their behalf between pickup and drop-off of organic products. If you're having something shipped to you, you want to make sure it maintains its organic status. In order to achieve this, operations utilizing exempt uncertified transportation or transloading operations must maintain records for the audit trail and traceability in sufficient detail as to be readily understood and audited. They must demonstrate prevention of commingling and contamination during transportation activities. They must fully describe the transportation practices in the organic system plan, and they must ensure that the transportation records for organic products are available for inspection. Again, when transloading is a function of transport, it must be evaluated as a potential source of contamination or commingling, and the organic operations must document measures in place to prevent the loss of organic integrity. The last topic for this presentation is storage. Storage locations may be exempt depending on how the products are packaged and the activities performed on site. Before we dive into the different types of storage locations, we will discuss what the preamble says about packaging. And that is, the movement of packaged and sealed organic products through the supply chain is a lower risk activity. Packaged products are less likely to be commingled, exposed to contaminants, or tampered with, and alterations are easier to detect. Handling operations that sell, distribute, or store packaged organic agricultural products must be exempt from or may be exempt from organic certification. 2 exemptions at 205.101E and F apply to limited handling activities involving only organic agricultural products that are in sealed, tamper-evident packaging or containers. For more information about the exemptions, visit the OTCO website at www.tilth.org/SOE. While sealed and tamper-evident is not included in 205.2 with a formal definition, the preamble gives us this. Tamper-evident packaging or container means that the contents are sealed in a manner where an attempt to break the seal access the contents, or reclose the package would be obvious. Here's an example of bagged oranges. On the left, the bag has a label folded over and the top is sewn shut. We've added a blown up image where you can see the sewn part. This meets the requirements because an attempt to break the seal, access the contents, or reclose the package would be obvious. The example on the right of bagged oranges that are tied shut would not be considered sealed and tamper evident. In this case, you could easily untie the package to access or modify the contents and then reclose it. It is important to understand the requirements of sealed and tamper evident. It does not mean impermeable, but instead references the ability to break the seal, access the contents, or reclose the package in a way that is obvious. For uncertified storage locations, this puts pressure on them to know how products are packaged prior to receiving them for storage. It's possible that an operation is sending both types of oranges viewed here. Storage of oranges packaged on the right requires certification, and storing at an uncertified facility would jeopardize the organic status of the orange. For certified operations utilizing uncertified storage locations, this puts the responsibility on them to ensure their suppliers are sending products in sealed and tamper evident packages or containers in order to retain their organic status. Now that we have a better understanding of what sealed and tamper evident packaging means, we'll cover types of storage locations. The first type includes locations that store unpackaged organic products. If we go all the way back to our example flowchart, it includes the use of unpackaged grain storage. This would require certification. Other examples may include consolidation points for livestock or unpackaged produce, potato shelters, or other bulk storage areas where products are not enclosed in sealed and tamper evident packaging. This is considered high risk to organic integrity and requires organic certification. Products stored like this are higher risk for fraud, contamination with prohibited substances, and commingling with non-organic products. A proper OSP and certifier oversight protects unpackaged products from losing their organic status. In this case, the activity of storing unpackaged products requires organic certification. The second type of storage includes locations that store packaged organic products that are not in sealed tamper evident packaging. The images here all show products in containers, but they are not sealed and tamper evident. Other examples may include unsealed produce boxes, bins, super sacks, or unsealed clamshells. Storing products in these type of packaging is also considered high risk to organic integrity and requires organic certification. This is common with grocery distribution centers that store and distribute produce or items that are enclosed in packaging but that are not sealed and tamper evident. In this case, the activity of storing products that are not in sealed and tamper evident packaging requires organic certification. The third type of storage includes locations that store packaged organic products that are in sealed tamper evident packaging, like the sealed oranges from earlier. Other examples may include produce boxes that are glued or taped shut, sealed barrels, or sewn sacks like the coffee image on the right. Going back to the preamble, the movement of packaged and sealed organic products through the supply chain is a lower risk activity. Packaged products are less likely to be commingled, exposed to contaminants, or tampered with, and alterations are easier to detect. In this case, the activity of storing products that are in sealed and tamper evident packaging is exempt from organic certification. However, selling, labeling, or any other handling activities would require organic certification. Again, we have to determine and evaluate the activities being performed before we accurately determine whether certification is required or exempt. The fourth and last type of storage includes locations that store packaged organic products that are in sealed and tamper evident retail packaging. This is going to include large consumer goods warehouses, third-party logistics, and brand owners who only take possession of finished products that are labeled for retail sale. These type of products must be produced at organic certified facilities where the production and labeling activities are verified by an organic certifier. The retail label will include the required components, including the handler information, as well as the certified organic by OTCO or other certifier statement that are outlined in subpart D of the regulation. The sale and storage of products that are in sealed and tamper-evident retail packaging is exempt from organic certification. However, other handling activities such as labeling requires organic certification. In this case, the activity of storing as well as selling products that are sealed and tamper-evident retail packaging is exempt from organic certification. However, labeling or any other handling activities would require organic certification. One more time, we have to determine and evaluate the activities being performed before we can accurately determine whether certification is required or exempt. Storage is an activity included in the definition of handle and requires certification unless the product and facility are allowed as exempt in 205.101. These are complicated exemptions. We encourage operations to consider how their products or ingredients are packaged when evaluating whether or not a storage location requires certification. Storage locations also need to be aware of the packaging to ensure they are not compromising the organic integrity of the products they're storing. Just like transportation and transloading, the certified organic operation responsible for the storage of organic products in uncertified storage facilities must maintain records for the audit trail and traceability in sufficient detail as to be readily understood and audited. They must demonstrate prevention of commingling and contamination during storage. They must fully describe the storage practices in the organic system plan, and they must ensure that records for organic products are available for inspection. We understand that this training covered a lot of material and was fast, so you may have additional questions. We urge you to first consider the activities you are engaging in and review the preamble and regulation to see whether it has been covered. If you still have questions, please reach out to getcertified@tilth.org or your client services delivery team. Thank you, and we hope you learned a lot from this training.